I'm sure most of you Dark Souls fans have heard of the amazing mod by Inferno Plus called Remastis. This mod is very expansive and impressive, and I'm honestly still so intrigued with how much content Inferno and the other modders were able to put into it. From the redesigned mechanics, the new spells, the weapons, adjustments to the items that were in the original game, there's just so much to unpack. However, my personal favorite part of this mod was the addition of Halo weapons and armor. Switching down Pinwheel with an AR dressed as Master Chief was not something I knew I needed. So even though I'm a bit late to the mod, I just built a PC. I wanted to see if I could play through this mod while only using the Halo elements of the mod. That means Halo weapons only and Halo armor only. Unfortunately, to get the armor legitimately in the mod, you have to beat most of the DLC and also most of the game in order to get the armor and the guns. So I decided to get the guns legitimately as I progressed through each of the levels, but I gave myself the armor so I could use it for the entire run. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. So the most fitting name I could come up with was of course John Halo. I went with the Bandit class since it had more strength, and I figured Chief would probably be a strength build if he could choose. Our poor chosen undead was rescued by Master Chief, which was an awesome change, thank you Inferno. We got our first gun, the plasma pistol, gave ourselves the armor, and took on the Asylum Demon. Who would have guessed guns are pretty good in Dark Souls?
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy! Damn!
Then it was on to Firelink Shrine, where a not Pelican picks up Chief and drops him off at the makeshift UNSC base, Firelink. The guns are very fun to play around with, and I might have treated it as if I was actually playing Halo at first, with constantly rolling and headshotting everything. The Hollows were definitely not prepared for a super soldier with guns rolling up to Undead Bird. Taurus Demon stood absolutely no chance, as the charge shot on the plasma pistol was able to take him down in about 4 shots. It was here I found out that guns are upgraded using Demon Titanite, sort of like the boss weapons in the game, which meant I had to pick which one I wanted to upgrade carefully, as there wasn't enough to go around for all of them. I also found out that none of the guns have any scaling, so we could just put all of our points into health and stamina, as I wouldn't get any extra damage and I wouldn't need any higher stats in order to build the rest of the weapons for the run. In Firelink we also had access to the next gun, the Magnum, which had some of the highest damage we could get for a while. I also bought the bottomless box to unload anything that wasn't a Halo item in my inventory out of it. The Channeler by the Gargoyles is normally a big annoyance with how he buffs all the hollows and his constant barrage of spells, but thanks to Chief and the Magnum, we made quick work of him. The Gargoyles themselves were laughably easy. I did want to shoot their tail to see if I could chop their tails off like you can in the original game, and get the weapons that they drop, even though I couldn't use them. We did find out that yes, you can shoot the tails off, so I'd be doing that for the rest of the run, even though it probably wouldn't change anything. We rang the first bell, got our next weapon, the SMG, which, by the way, I'm not going to cover every time I get a new weapon, as I won't use some of them for most of the run, but for now, I'll cover most of them. We went to fight Lautrec to stop him from unaliving the Firekeeper. I tried to see if I could blow him off the cliff with a grenade, but that didn't quite work, so we just switched him down. I also saw that the mod added the Fortnite default dance into the game, so I'll be using this very much. I used my knowledge of 6 speedrunner strats in the original game to get to the depths faster than usual with this Undead Bird skin. I also got revenge on Capra Demon by making this fight at an early level extremely easy thanks to the SMG and plasma pistol. Once I got the key to the depths, we ran to the Gaping Dragon as fast as I could, as I wanted to try and fight all the bosses with this build. I found the plasma grenades were very effective, and if the enemy was low health, the plasma grenade would just trigger the death animation even if the enemy still had some health left, which was pretty OP.
Help me!
We went to Blighttown and got the battle rifle. Found out that when I get invaded, I have to enable guns when I got invaded by Mildred. Then I lit her up with the battle rifle by the bonfire. We fought Quelaag, which was almost the same as a bow-only run, as we could just stagger her by shooting her human parts. We rang the second bell, went to Sleesis real quick for the extra souls. I also saw here that plasma grenades and later spike grenades, when stuck and detonated, cause enemies to T-pose, as they don't have collapsing animations like NPCs and players do, which was pretty funny.
Invincible.
We went through Sen's Fortress real quick. The Iron Golem was not really staggering from gunfire, but grenades seemed to do the trick. Grenades were seeming to be the way to go for big damage at the moment. Also, some guns were more useful than others. Most of the automatic weapons lacked any real damage, but they had some good stagger potential. And the slower weapons had more damage, of course, but they needed to be reloaded or they overheated after only a few shots. I went with a mix of both instead. We got to Anar Londo, where we could get our next weapon. We took out the Gargoyles here rather easily. The Painted Guardians were not a challenge at all, as we could just headshot them from a distance. We got the Beam Rifle, which is one of the best weapons in the mod in my opinion. We got another Demon Titanite. I'll go through and get more off screen, but I'll showcase the few I got here. I was mostly saving them for a weapon for later on. Next was Ornstein and Smough, which we did fail once since I ran out of Estus and had to use Humanity, but we came back and abused the Beam Rifle and the Plasma Grenades to decimate Ornstein and Smough. Ornstein himself wasn't too bad, as we just hid behind the pillar and sniped him occasionally with the beam rifle until we got him pretty low health. And he would keep shooting lightning bolts at us, but they would keep missing since we were behind the pillar. And occasionally we would throw a grenade, but that was pretty much all it took.
Double kill.
We got the Lord Vessel and talked to Guinevere. We placed the Lord Vessel to access the rest of the game. I wanted to defeat most of the main lords before we went to the DLC, so we next headed to Pinwheel. We also managed to get the Spiker in the Catacombs, which allows us to use Spike Grenades, and it essentially became Darkbead 2.0, as it had a game-breaking damage that I would use for the rest of the run. Well, that's some good damage. Do it again, and... yeah, that's good damage. Got an emote on him for that Vic Roy, as always. We got another Demon Titanite. We can just snipe him from here, I think. Oh, there we go. We got tricked by Patches. We fought this new Old Bones mini-boss, who was overpowered, but we managed to cheese him by constantly shooting at him and forcing him to roll off an edge. Oh, he does a lot of damage. Oh, okay. Let's try again. He ended up giving us 11 million souls, by the way, so, I guess I'm leveling endurance.
Unfreaking believable.
We then abused the spike grenades on Nito, who went down in only 2 grenades. His minions are more of a challenge in this run. Alright, let's get rid of the spooky scaries. Ow. Guns don't kill them forever, sadly. Can't make a divine spiker, I guess. Yep, that's about what I thought. We then went to the Demon Fire Stage and once again showed how OP spike grenades are by two-shotting him without any buffs or anything. Ouch. Let's throw him. Alright, that's decent. Oh my god. Okay, that works. We got the Brute Shot from more Spike Grenade weapons. The Centipede Demons was rather easy as we were able to snipe him as he made his way towards us in the lava, and then hit him with some Spike Grenades when he gets close. Okay, they're actually pretty mid on him for some reason. Sniper's still good though. And there we go. Got an emote on him. Next was Beta Chaos, which I couldn't use the old firebomb trick with plasma grenades, so I had to just shoot the little hearts or whatever they are normally. Then we ran inside, got our headshot on the bug, and Scammer gets scammed, buddy. We fought the Moonlight Butterfly as well for the fun of it, which the beam rifle was perfect for. Alright, grenades are just okay, so let's go back to the sniper for this one. Oh yeah, there's the damage. Jeez. We went to fight the Immortal Seath, and we almost unalived him on the spot, which you aren't supposed to be able to do, but the spike grenades just did that much damage. Oh my god, we almost got him. I'm curious what would have happened if he did go down there. The game just bugged? Okay. We got arrested. Thanks, buddy. Broke out. Started a prison break. Oh no, he's blasting his music. And the hype beasts are coming out. Went to fight Seath, who bugged out and was still immortal after breaking his crystal, so I had to quit out for him to actually be able to be defeated. Alright, come on, Seath. Attack, please. Yeah, there we go. Why is he still regenerating? Alright, let's quit out. Is he actually taking damage now, or is he... Okay, yeah, he is. Darkbead 3.0 even. We fought Havel, which I think Havel and Chief would actually be friends IRL. We entered the DLC finally. The Sanctuary Guardian was actually rather easy, and we managed to 360 no-scope him for the final hit, just like Chief would. Let's try the UNSC sniper. We got the tail already. Jeez. Let's try to 360 no scope him. Ow. Almost. Ow. Hey, there we go. Got the 360 no scope. Next was Artorias, and Artorias definitely had a large health pool, but we abused the headshot mechanic with the sniper rifle and the spike grenades, of course. He's got a lot of health, or we do no damage. Not sure which. And he's dodging everything as usual. Thank you, Artorias. Spiker doesn't do good damage on its own, though. Oh, the grenade didn't even let him use the rest of his health bar there. Just took him out. We asked Goff for some help with Calamite. Calamite wasn't too bad. I just kept messing around and trying to cut his tail off with the sniper. The Ring of Calamity was also reworked in that now you could take more damage as usual, but you also deal more damage, so it's actually a useful ring now. We gotta try to get the tail. Come on, we gotta try. Alright, come on, we're getting there. Alright, now that we got it, it's grenade time, buddy. And almost. Alright, we can just switch him down for the rest of it. Come on. Alright, thank you. We rescued Sif. Next was Manus, and while he had a lot of health as well, the spike grenades were just too much for him. Alright, Manus. We're just gonna cancel that with some grenades, and he's gone just like that. The Forest Hunters were not ready for Master Chief to pull up. Where are you going, silly boy? Filthy magic user, parry this. Bro didn't stand a chance. And bop. Bop. And donezo. We fought Sif next, and while he remembered us, he unfortunately still had to fight us, so rest in peace to my boy. Sif, you will be remembered. At least he went down in the hands of Chief, so I'm sure he would be happy about that. Let's try to no-scope Sif as well. Alright, that was like a 720, but it works. Then it was Four Kings time. So, we talked to Ingward, we got the key, opened the floodgates, literally. Almost got thrown down a hole by the ghosts. Four Kings are very easy, as they wouldn't be alive long enough for another one to spawn. And thanks to the spike grenades, of course, they only went down in 2 kings. Dance while we wait, of course. We really can't hit him yet? Come on. And grenade, that should get him pretty close. Or just take him out, that works. We opened the final door with the 4 Lord Souls, which gave us access to the kiln of the First Flame, and probably my favorite weapon in the mod so far. Alright, best weapon, here we go. The rocket launcher. And Chief pulling up with the rocket launcher, what you doing? Next was the Secret Master Chief boss fight, which was added in the mod, and is probably the most difficult fight in the entire game now. Not only does Chief barely reload and he constantly fires whatever weapon he currently has out, he also has grenades, which can one-shot you if you're hiding behind cover or something. And he switches weapons to things like snipers, so he can stun lock you with headshots and also two-shot you with the amount of damage it does, or explosives like the brute shot that can just two-shot you by constantly stun locking you as well. He also summons a small army to help him every so often, and it can be pretty overwhelming, especially once you get him lower and he starts summoning much more enemies. He also teleports occasionally. Chief took a lot of attempts, but eventually I discovered a reload cancel method where whenever I would shoot all my shots in the rocket, I would just switch to my beam rifle and then switch back really quick, and I wouldn't have to reload, and it would just cancel the reload animation, so I could shoot immediately. That let me spam the rockets, and it made it a lot easier to get through this fight and take out all of his enemies. The most annoying enemies were definitely the dogs and those crab things. The humanities weren't too bad, except for when I had to hide behind cover or try to heal, and then they would just wander inside me and I would be done in seconds. What, really? That little guy? He wasn't even doing it. Oh my. No, the headshot. Oh, wow, thanks. Great. I didn't even hear the grenade, man. Oh, come on. I switched to the flip ring for some better dodges and to look cool as Chief. Alright, we're close. Oh god, the dogs. Ah, the bone wheels. Okay, let's heal. We gotta get close to him so he can stop spamming the brute shot. Just shoot the feet like I got PhD flopper. Oh, just another shot or two, come on. Oh, thank God, jeez. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Rampage.
Oh, hey, Chief.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You owe me big time for that, Chief, not gonna lie. Gwendolyn was next, and he was kind of annoying since I couldn't get close enough to land a grenade reliably, so I just went with using the rocket launcher on him, which ended up doing most of his health bar, and then I used the spiker to finish him off, and we were able to take him down. Stray Demon was next so we could get to the Painted World, and we ended up one-shotting him by throwing a spike grenade and using the Calamity Ring, so that was pretty insane. We got the doll, entered the Painted World, and got to hear the funny surprise noise as always. Never gets old. Next was Priscilla, who I wanted to try and defeat before she went invisible, which worked out as our spike grenades ended up one-shotting her as well, and the Calamity Ring ended up being an integral part of our build, which was actually kind of funny. Next was the Among Us boss, which was added in the mod as well, and it basically just spawns a bunch of Among Us dudes with lots of health and some daggers. Thankfully though, just shooting near them makes them roll constantly, so I use that to keep them off of me and not to constantly have them backstab me, and I threw grenades just to try and get damage off, or I would switch to my rocket whenever they were grouped up so I could try and get some good damage on them and hit multiple of them at once. The fight is usually a bit tough with how many there are and how they can corner you and backstab you all the time, but this strat made it pretty easy, and it was just more of a time sink than anything. Just keep spamming grenades when I can. Music goes hard, not gonna lie. Alright, we got a few there. Just a couple left. Alright, just the red guy now. Let's light him up. And there we go. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I guess that's the strat now. Last was Gwyn, and well, he went down really easily. Just a few grenades and some rocket shots and boom, he was done for. The power of the first flame was absolutely nothing compared to modern weaponry. Just like that, Master Chief had beaten the entirety of Dark Souls Remastered, or at least what I think is all of it. There actually might be more I just haven't discovered yet, I'm not sure. I hope Inferno continues to update this mod, or at least continues to mod things in general, as this mod was an absolute blast to play, and made playing Dark Souls 1 the most fun I've had since I first played it. I definitely want to make a video on all the other spells and weapons in the mod, so maybe like playing through them with those spells or other weapons. So I'll definitely have that coming soon. If you enjoyed, please let me know by commenting, liking, or disliking, and letting me know how to do better. I appreciate it if you made it this far. If you like the content like this, I also have a playlist with all my other Souls videos and challenge runs, including stuff like my girlfriend trying Dark Souls or Elden Ring, level 1 runs on Elden Ring or anything like that. Once again, thank you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching this, and take it easy, guys.